Here with John Yoo. He's former Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Bush Justice Department. He's also a law professor at the University of California, Berkeley, so no better guest at this moment for me. Let me ask you this. Peter was just talking about what the Senate Judiciary should do. What do you think it should do?
I also, in my resume, had once been the General Counsel of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and there's a standard process to follow here. You could send the FBI agents out to interview Ms. Ford under oath and to interview Judge Kavanaugh under oath and then report back to the Judiciary Committee. The leadership of the committee and the other members can decide whether more hearings are necessary or not. It may not be the case you need to have more hearings, but you want to find out what people are going to tell you under oath first. That said, I doubt that a lot new will turn up because this happened so long ago, over about 35 years ago. The only other corroborating witness who was there says it didn't happen. Judge Kavanaugh said it didn't happen. Ms. Ford doesn't remember a lot of the details, apparently, not even the year when it happened. And so I don't think you're going to have any new information that's going to make a difference. But the senators still may want to look Judge Kavanaugh in the eye. They may want to look Ms. Ford in the eye to make a judgment about credibility. I don't think this should take longer than a week or two at most.
When it comes to the FBI, just getting some information here, is it the White House that has to ask the FBI to reopen the background investigation?
Well, the Judiciary Committee can ask. So when the FBI does one of these background investigations, they're providing it to the White House, but they're also providing it to the Judiciary Committee. And the Judiciary Committee can ask. They can't direct the FBI. As you mentioned, Dana, the FBI does work directly under the president. The president is the chief law enforcement officer. But the Senate could also choose not to move forward unless the White House cooperates.
All right, let me get to another topic with you, because we originally booked you to talk about the first day of the second Paul Manafort trial. But before we could get to that, Paul Manafort has pled guilty. Let me read to you what was written about him by Aaron Blake in the Washington Post, saying that Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to 8 counts of his own. And in doing so, Cohen effectively named Trump as an unindicted co-conspirator in a campaign finance violation, ratcheting up Trump's legal problems significantly. It could be, although it's impossible to say with any certainty, that this changed the calculus for Manafort and that you get then to Manafort pleading guilty. My question for you is, why would Manafort plead guilty now rather than before his first trial, where then he was convicted and is now a convicted criminal?
Dana, I'm afraid I don't buy that conspiracy theory. I don't actually think Cohen pleading to different crimes in a different jurisdiction really affected Manafort. I don't blame Manafort for pleading out. I think he should have pled out for the first trial, too. I don't know why he tried to roll the dice on a long shot hope that he might get acquitted by that jury, because I think he was guilty on the documents. And I think the government had him to rights in this second trial. I don't blame him for wanting to avoid.
You say, though, that there is, you think there is good news for President Trump in this plea that Manafort just did?
Yeah, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is this is going to continue the investigation longer. I've been hoping President Trump would accelerate things by agreeing to cooperate with Mr. Mueller. The good news for President Trump is, even with the plea, you still don't see any claims or links between the Trump campaign on the one hand and Russia. I don't see any evidence, any facts still out there about any kind of conspiracy to violate federal law. That's what Mueller's really supposed to be investigating. And
so you think that the president, if he wants to see this end, that he needs to cooperate, though his lawyers are telling him that it wouldn't be a good idea?
I think the best thing for the president and the best thing for the country, Dana, is to get the investigation over with as soon as possible. The more President Trump fights with Mueller, resists sitting down and answering questions, the longer this is going to go on. I think he could end this long national fight by sitting down with Mr. Mueller and answering the questions directly about what he did and what he didn't do. President Trump says he didn't do anything wrong, so he has nothing really to be afraid of by telling the truth to the American people on television.
And Manafort is dealing with issues prior to him joining the campaign as well in that plea. All right, John Yoo, thank you.